why do I want to be so thin all the time? Is it really just because of that look, or is it because, well, the pressures of society, and also the fact that people are treated better when they're in a smaller body, and all of these different things? When you ask why, you're able to be kinder to yourself because you understand it, rather than just judge yourself and then stop there. So be curious rather than judgmental.
Welcome to the Soul Podcast, where we dive into stories that shape our souls.
Today's guest is someone you've probably come across on your feed, whether she's debunking nutrition myths, breaking down diet culture, or reminding us that we always deserve to eat. Sebastian is a registered nutritionist dietitian who's built her practice on helping others build healthier, more compassionate relationships with food and their bodies. In this episode, we're going back to the beginning, how her love for food began, the challenges that shaped her, and what led her to the work she does today. Also, a disclaimer, yes, we lost the first half's audio. No, we're not spiraling. Well, at least not anymore. But thank you so much for bearing with us. We promise it comes back. Enjoy!
Hi, I'm Jo. I love food. I love colorful, cute things. But in terms of work, I am a registered nutritionist and dietitian, and I also like to make videos. My main goal is really just to help individuals find their journey towards a healthier relationship with food and their body, and also just find a way to feel more confident in the things that they're doing to take care of themselves.
So you always end your videos with the mantra, you always deserve to eat. Can you tell us more about where this came from?
Ooh, okay. So I usually see a lot of people online before posting videos about how, like, hey, you deserve kindness, or like you deserve to eat, you deserve to nourish yourself, all of these things. And before, I really struggled with my relationship with food and my body. And when I heard things like this, it really helped me remember that I do deserve to eat. I deserve kindness. I deserve nourishment. And I'm allowed to do that. And I felt like saying this at the end of my videos was me saying it to my younger self. Like, hey, you always deserve to eat. You deserve to nourish yourself. You deserve to be kind to yourself. And over the years of me saying it was mainly just to remind those who struggle with their relationship with food to be able to eat. But I'm now realizing that it actually has so much more meaning to it. We deserve to eat in the sense that we all deserve to have access to food. We all deserve to have the education about food. We deserve to live our life in a way that is of quality and allows us to actually be able to do the things that we want to. So I feel like when I say you always deserve to eat, it's not just about you being able to make the decision to eat, but it's also you having the ability to make those choices in general. And hopefully my content also encompasses that message.
I love that. But let's start from the beginning. So when you think from the beginning, when you think back to your birth, when you think back to your earliest memories with food, what comes to mind?
I think my earliest memories of food was when I was maybe I was 6 years old, something like 6 years old. And my relationship with food, I don't really think about it until I hit high school. But if I really think about my earliest memories, it was around the grade school time, because my mom was a vegetarian. And it's never something that she imposed. Like, she never told us that you can't eat meat or anything like that, although there wasn't always meat options at home. So anytime that I would go out to, let's say, a birthday party, there's hot dog, there's barbecue, the little rebel in me would sneak it in. I would eat it, or I would give it to my friend. So every time we're eating the food, and then let's say somebody from my family passes, I'll give it to my friend and be like, this is yours, huh? I'm like, hello. I'm gonna, pretending that it's not my food. So I think those are some of my early memories, that there was always a hint of guilt attached to food for me. Now, not necessarily in the calorie wise, or in like body shape wise, but I've always kind of had that feeling of scarcity around it. And that grew as I got older into the dieting. But now it became me doing ballet and feeling afraid of gaining weight. And so then the guilt kicked in, where I felt like I wasn't allowed to eat because I didn't deserve the food. I didn't deserve to have energy or enjoy myself. A lot of my memories around food weren't really good memories in a way, if I really think about it. Except, of course, for some of those comfort foods. My comfort food is, might be weird, but it's grated carrot with mayo and then alfalfa sprouts because that's what my mom used to make, like a sandwich like that. And it's like her version of a tuna sandwich, but she didn't eat fish, so it was carrots. So those are some of the things that I can think of. And even my love for, let's say, Filipino food and Japanese food and all of those things, it just came in a few years ago because I had always been so afraid of food. When I finally broke free from that narrative of food is dangerous, bad, and you should be guilty for eating, I started to learn more about it and love it more. I will say though, I'm a picky eater actually. People don't know that, but I'm a little bit of a picky eater. Not in the sense that I won't try new things, but I am very particular with textures and tastes. And if I don't like something, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna eat it. Unless people are watching me. But yeah, that's kind of my earliest memories around food and seeing how that relationship has been. And I'm only discovering this right now as I am talking about it. So thank you for this therapy session.
You mentioned you were a ballet dancer or you were in ballet. I'm so curious, how did those moments shape your relationship as well with food and with body image? Since those, of course, are so tied together as a young girl.
Yes, very much so. Those are the biggest contributors of my relationship with food and my body. Of course, for a lot of people, it's definitely like social media. It is the 2010s skinny, heroin chic that they say, or all of those things that were popular at that time. And for me, it was very ballerina, skinny look and Black Swan era type of thing. So when I was younger, actually, when I was starting off to do ballet, I never really thought about my body at all. Like looking back, I never thought about my body, even if I was always told to like, suck my stomach in. It never bothered me. But it really, really stuck when I went to high school. So I went to an art school and I did ballet. And the culture of that art school is very, very intense. Not necessarily the best type of culture. But there's a hierarchy. First year, second year, third year, fourth year, you can really feel the hierarchy in terms of what year you're in. So in my first year, the fourth year is kind of like just lined us up and then just told every single one of us, so there was 9 of us, first year ballet majors, and they just told everyone what was wrong with their bodies basically. They were like, you're too big, you're too this, like your neck is like this and that. Like they just went at it. And then for me, it was, you're too big and your stomach is too big. And like I had gotten that comment before, but other people had said that to me, but it never really stuck until that time. So everything changed for me, where I suddenly felt very, very insecure about my stomach. I suddenly felt very insecure about my weight and my body as a whole. Added to that is our weight was included in our grades. So if you gain weight, minus points, it's a grade low. If you lost weight, there's no additional points. It's just the same. So it's only if you gained weight that you would lose points in your grade. And since I was also very perfectionist and I was doing very well in my academics, I wanted to do well in my arts grades as well. So everything just kind of poured in. And that's when I started to do all of the research about how to lose weight. I was always like, how to lose weight in 5 days, how to lose weight and eat whatever you want, like those common searches in my Google history. And I also had an iPod at that time, iPod Touch. If anybody remembers that. I used to have an iPod Touch, and the only apps that I had there were like calorie counting apps and workout apps. Aside from, of course, YouTube and others, it was really mostly everything related to how I could change my body. Mm-hmm. And just like looking back, that was the only thing that consumed my brain space for so long until I graduated. That's the only time I realized, or before I graduated, I was thinking, is this really gonna be what my life is gonna be like forever? Am I just gonna be stressed about food all the time? Am I gonna be thinking about my body all the time? Is that it? Like, is this life? And I used to love dancing. I used to perform in, if you remember Chocolate Kiss in UP, the old one where there's like a piano, there used to be like a piano there, somebody used to play the piano, and then my family said that I would like be dancing there, like, with other people eating, and just like take over the space. I've always loved to perform and entertain, but then when it got to high school, the obsession with my weight and my body overtook that love for the art. And I was no longer dancing because I loved it. I was dancing because I wanted to burn calories. So I was dancing because I needed an extra hour of movement, or I just had this competitive energy of like, I have to be thinner than everyone else. I have to be skinnier or better than everyone else and all of these things. And I really, really took the time to think, is this really what I want? Like, I'm lucky that at 16 I had that kind of light bulb moment, because if I didn't, then I would probably graduate, dance more, and I don't know where I would be. But at that time, I was like, I can't do this forever. And that's when it started to shift for me, and that's why I went into nutrition. Initially, the goal was to study nutrition so that I could eat whatever I wanted and not gain weight. But then I started to learn more about nutrition and food, and thought, I actually want to help ballerinas who struggle with their relationship with food in their body, until it just became, no, I think there's a larger group of people, and everyone in general is struggling in some way with their relationship with food in their body, and there's so much more to talk about and tackle when it comes to that. And that's kind of what led me to where I am now.
Yeah. So you took up nutrition in college, is that correct? How did studying nutrition then change your relationship with your own body and with food? How did science challenge or dismantle some of those beliefs? Science!
So in the beginning, it didn't do anything actually. And I think that was mainly because I was very challenged with the studies in general. And because I was also dealing with my own struggles with my relationship with food and my body. Really nothing could overtake that at that time. Let's say so I think a lot of people struggle with this, but when you're in high school, you're kind of like a top student, right? You're doing well with your grades or things like that. And then when you get into college, a lot of the time, top students, suddenly they're not that smart anymore, or like they're just not excelling in the way that they want to anymore. And I was so sad, because I was like, I was so smart in high school. I did so well. And then in college, I couldn't keep up with anything. And I was so shocked, because of course I did come from an art school. And then I jumped into a science major, so I understand that there's a huge gap, but I was struggling. So apart from that feeling that suddenly I'm no longer as smart as I used to be, and I started to gain weight, my confidence just dropped so much. To the point where if I am in, let's say, lunchtime, like it's lunchtime, I would eat in the bathroom, because I'm in Bao, and I would eat in the bathroom because I don't want anyone to see me eating, I don't want anyone to see my body. I was always hatid sundo. To like, as soon as my class starts, that's when I get there. As soon as it's done, I'm out of here. I don't want to talk to anyone, because I always felt like they were just going to judge me for my body, which now, of course, we realize everyone is mostly thinking about their own body and their own insecurities. But I really felt like I wasn't worthy enough to have friends, or even worthy enough to exist, unless I looked a specific way, so I had to hide. So even if I was in a science course, none of that information really stuck with me. When we were talking about how carbs is energy, protein is something that your body needs, and fats helps you absorb nutrients, all those things, in one ear, out the other. It will come back when I'm taking an exam. Hanggang dun lang siya. Tapos, wala na, bye na. Because I was struggling so much with my own relationship with food in my body. I wanted to prioritize losing weight and getting to where I felt most confident before listening to all that. And it's funny, because a lot of my batchmates thought I was very healthy, because I also used to be vegan for the sake of weight loss as well. And they didn't realize, or they didn't know at that point, that those were really just my coping mechanisms and the way that I could handle how I felt about myself. I was working out like 2 to 3 hours a day. I was eating very, very little food. They were like, "You're so disciplined, but they didn't know the behind the scenes of that. It was when I graduated that everything finally clicked, because I learned more about intuitive eating and food freedom. And at that point, I also thought, hey, I'm a dietitian. I don't think I would be very credible if I was myself struggling with my relationship with food and my body, which isn't necessarily true. Somebody can be struggling but also still give very helpful advice. But then, I started to question, like, hey, wait, we have to do something about this. And when I learned more about intuitive eating and I learned more about food freedom and balance and started to try and apply that to me, I was like, hey, this is information my younger self could have really used. This information my younger self needed, and now I want to try to share that. And that's when it started to go into my content as well.
Interesting. Can you tell us more about intuitive eating? Actually, what is it?
Okay, great question. So intuitive eating is often heard or thought of as the eat when hungry, stop when full diet. It's not really a diet per se, but it's more of just a practice. So there's actually a book, The 10 Principles of Intuitive Eating, and 2 dietitians made this in 1997, which I think is also a little bit of, like a sign, because I wasn't born that year, so made for me now. But it talks about 10 principles of how you can learn to listen to your body better. So most of the time, intuitive eating is also seen as just eat whatever you want. The baka's like, oh, if I was intuitive with my eating, well, I just eat anything and everything all the time. But there's actually so much more to it. It's also understanding the why around your food choices. So it's not just, I want a donut, I'm going to eat a donut. It's also, why am I craving a donut? Is it because I didn't eat enough today? Is it because I might be having some emotions or stress? Is it because I just want the taste of it? So you're really tapping into more of your own intuition and understanding of your body, so that when you make your food choices, there's no guilt. It's curiosity, it's understanding, and it's kindness, instead of all of the, oh, this is so bad for me, oh, this is not allowed, or oh, I'm undisciplined. It's, oh wait, I wanted comfort, so I'm going to seek this certain food. Or I didn't feel satisfied with my meal, so I want something satisfying. Or maybe it's, I'm still hungry and I need some extra food. And those are all perfectly fine reasons. But we want to dive into all of the whys and also all of the hows for us to address what our body is feeling. So that's kind of what I would say is the gist of intuitive eating. But there's just so much more to each of the principles out of the 10. And it even talks about movement and all of those different things. So definitely something I feel people should learn more about. Not necessarily something that everyone has to practice, but something that we could talk more about.
Intuitive eating isn't just eat whatever you want, whenever you want, although that does play a role because you are allowed to eat the foods that you enjoy, but it's also really navigating the hows, the whys, and understanding your body so that we can nourish ourselves in a kinder way.
In learning intuitive eating, was it like an immediate shift for you that like, oh, okay, I learned this, I feel, my relationship is better with food, with my body? Or what was that journey like? What was that process like for you?
Definitely not an instant shift or even something that I kind of realized until I had gotten to that point. Because I was just seeing a lot of the messages on Instagram. I was like seeing a lot of intuitive eating and food freedom accounts online. And I was sharing them, kind of just like kind of learning it or just seeing those messages. And it was maybe 2 years into it that I was like, oh, I've changed. Like my relationship with food has changed. The way I see food has changed. So it was very, very slow, kind of slow burn relationship with intuitive eating, where it started with giving myself permission to eat rice. And then it started to bleed into trying to eat more meals in a day rather than just the one meal. It was really me slowly incorporating those habits. And then I realized, oh, I'm at that point where I'm able to listen to my body and I feel a lot better. it's kind of the fake it till you make it energy, where even when I was posting about it in the beginning of my journey, I wasn't really there. Even if I was telling people that it's okay to eat the food that you love, you don't need to feel guilty for eating certain foods, I still felt that way until it became my reality. It was definitely a journey, and only after did I realize and even learn more about myself. And when I realized that I had developed all of these different habits and a new relationship with food, that's also when I started to dig even deeper into how I can learn more about myself moving forward. So it was a slow burn until I was able to have all of the tools that I needed to navigate it in a more scientific way.
I'm sure this conversation would resonate with a lot of young women, because even now, I mean, the whole skinny is in again on TikTok. It's like everywhere. People are dieting. Would you say that education was really what helped you through those struggles, or what was it, and what can people look to for help when they're struggling with things like body image and their relationship with food?
I think education definitely helped me from a science point of view in understanding my body. And I think that is definitely going to help a lot of people to understand their body better. For example, our period. So whenever we're about to have our period during the PMS state, most of the time your body is actually at a slightly higher metabolism, anywhere from 100 to 300 calories burned more for women. And when that happens, you're probably going to crave a lot more food and you're going to want more carbohydrates. So when I learned that, it really allowed me to be kinder to myself, because I was like, oh, okay, no wonder I'm hungry all the time. No wonder I want more carbs. It's because my body is going through something. So science definitely helped me in understanding my body so I could be kinder to it. And I think everybody needs to understand that as well, or to learn more about their body. Even for those who have, let's say, PCOS or diabetes, when you know why you're craving, why you're looking for certain foods, it allows you to really give yourself permission in a kinder way. Although for me, yes, it was partly science, but also I think it was mainly just changing my feed and changing the environment that I had at that point. Because for a long time, I was in that environment of everybody trying to lose weight and everybody talking about how skinny is what do you call that? Parang nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. But like that was what my feed was. So when I started to change that, that's when the mindset changed as well. Because yes, you can know all of these things based on science, but if you don't believe it because in your head you still have all of the societal pressures, you still have all of those things that overtake that, it won't matter. So it's definitely both. Yes, the science and knowing your body helps, but you also have to make sure that you believe that these things will work for you, or these things are for you. And that's really partly giving yourself the permission in your mindset.
You've also, I want to talk about strength and exercise, because you also said once that you avoided lifting weights because you were afraid of becoming bulky. How did rethinking strength change your perception of your body?
Okay, I used to really just do a lot of cardio, and I think we all went through that cardio phase, just doing cardio all the time. And that was deep into my disordered eating. When I started to lift weights, it was because my sister started to lift weights. And the thing is, I'm very competitive. So there's that. I'm just a very competitive person. So when she was starting to lift weights, I was like, okay, kaya ko rin yan. And I was at first kind of scared to do that. But then she started to lift a lot heavier. And I was like, no, we can't have that. We can't have her be stronger than me. Even though she's like taller than me and like all of these things, I'm like, I gotta be better. I don't know if that was a good thing. But essentially it started to move into, oh, I could lift weights. And then it started to move into, I want abs and I want a six pack, and I have to do that by building muscle. So it didn't always come into a healthy perspective of me lifting weights. It did move, or it did come from a place of like, I just want to look this way. I want to have a big butt. Again, because body standards did change. Body standards have are always changing. It's kind of trendy. Before it used to be very, very skinny, and then all of a sudden you have the big butt look, and then all of a sudden we're going back to skinny. So all of these trends also affect the way you see yourself and the way you take care of yourself. So from always doing cardio, I suddenly wanted a big butt, and then I knew that I had to lift weights to do that, but I was still afraid to eat at that point. So it slowly moved into that. And yes, I was afraid of getting bulky from lifting, but I think because my competitive side took over, the fear wasn't fully there. It wasn't fully, let's say, it wasn't manifested in a sense that I would not lift a weight, because my competitiveness was more like, no, you have to lift heavier than everyone else at the gym. And it's so odd. But and then also, of course, seeing that muscles actually looked really good, I suddenly kind of strayed away from that mindset of lifting makes you bulky and it's not allowed to look, it's not good to look that way. I suddenly saw it as a way that looked really good. And then it moved into strength, because then I felt so good lifting a heavy weight. Then I felt so confident being able to do things that I normally wouldn't be able to do, like lift a jug of water and being able to put that into the dispenser. So it gave me so much more confidence in my capabilities as well. And that helped bring that shift. So I think for a lot of people, it's really seeing movement as more functional than just aesthetic. That is very, very important. You have to see movement as a way that enhances and celebrates your life rather than a way to punish your body. And that will help you have a better relationship with it and want to do more things with your body as well. And then you can also find things that are fun for you, or things that give you a little extra push to, oh, I want to climb a mountain, so I have to work my way there. I want to join a competition, so I have to get myself into that shape. Those are the different things that help fuel me now, instead of just I want a big butt. Sometimes I still do, like I look in the mirror, I'm like, we're a little bit flatter than usual. And that's okay. But I know that my deeper motivation for movement is just because I want to be able to do like a handstand when I'm 80 years old, which I can't do one now. So maybe I'll get there when I'm 80. But I want to be able to do all of those things. And I see that as well with so many people in my life, like my dad's niece are super duper. They're not the way that they used to be. He struggles with walking. And that gives me a lot of motivation to like take care of your body now, because when you're older, you still want to be able to do all of the amazing things that you want to do. And that starts with what you do today.
You've obviously come such a long way from, who you were when you were 16. When you think about the younger version of yourself who was struggling with restriction and guilt and shame, what would you want to tell her now?
I honestly don't know if she would respond well to anything, because like thinking about myself in the past, I was very, very stubborn, and I still am quite stubborn, but she was very stubborn about her body and her relationship with food and all of those things. So there's nothing I feel like I could have said to her, but I feel like if I was able to just show her that, hey, it's actually possible for you to enjoy an ice cream without having to work out 3 hours after. It's actually okay for you to wear the clothes that you want to without people judging you, or at least, people thinking about you because you're the only one who's thinking about you at that time. It's actually possible for you to dance without feeling like the pressure of your body is there. And that's what I think about when I was younger. If I had just seen more of that online, more people lifting not because they wanted to look a specific way, but because they wanted to be strong, more people eating the food that they wanted to without naming the calories, or saying things like, I'll just burn it off later, or saying, it's okay, it's my cheat day today. If I had just seen more of that, I may have had an easier time to get to where I am today. But of course, if I had to say something, then I would tell her that she deserves to eat, because she does. And whether or not that would have helped her, that's something that she really needed to hear.
Well, if you could leave people with one mindset shift about food and the body, what would it be?
It's definitely to be more curious and not judgmental, because we really live in a world where we are meant to judge ourselves, and most of the time we also judge others in some aspects. So when we focus on being curious, you find solutions. I think that's a big struggle. When you are judgmental, you don't get to move forward from that. For example, oh my gosh, I ate a whole box of pizza. I suck. I'm the worst person in the world. I have no discipline. Then what happens? You try again tomorrow to be good, you diet, all of those things. But if you focus on being curious, which is why did I eat this whole pizza until I felt very uncomfortable? What led to this? Did I miss a meal? Am I stressed? Am I anxious? Am I just tired? You find solutions. You find a path to change or something to do tomorrow. And that really helps with your relationship with food and your body. Like, why do I want to be so thin all the time? Is it really just because of that look? Or is it because, well, the pressures of society? And also the fact that people are treated better when they're in a smaller body and all of these different things. When you ask why, you're able to be kinder to yourself because you understand it rather than just judge yourself and then stop there. So be curious rather than judgmental.
Thank you, Joe. Last question. What fuels your soul?
I think what keeps me going is knowing that someone out there is going through what I had gone through in the past and that they do have the opportunity to get out of that cycle. In terms of my content, that's what keeps me going, is knowing that somebody out there needs to hear a specific message and I can be the one to deliver that to them if there's any chance that they would hear it. It could come from me. And I think that really fuels my soul. On the other hand, in terms of like life in general, what fuels me is, I guess being competitive, yes, but also just trying to be a better version of myself. Yesterday, today. So whether that is maybe eating an extra vegetable or hitting a better forehand in tennis, it really fuels me to know that I'm just trying to be better. Again, my name is Sebastian. This is the Soul Podcast, and we'll see you next week.